Some people hide who they are out of fear, but some people hide who they are out of love, and there is a difference because one comes from weakness, and the other comes from a place so pure, so genuine, that it becomes the most painful kind of sacrifice a person can make. This story begins with a woman who had everything and chose to live like she had nothing. Born as the only daughter of one of the most powerful business families in the country, she grew up surrounded by wealth, influence, and a name that opened every door without even knocking. But when love came into her life, she made a decision that would cost her more than she ever imagined. She hid it all: the money, the status, the empire behind her name. Because she wanted to be loved for who she was, not for what she was worth. For 3 years, she gave everything to that relationship. 3 years of building something she believed was real. 3 years of choosing a man she thought saw her. Truly saw her, beyond any label or legacy. She cooked, she compromised, she stayed loyal through every storm, and she never once asked for recognition, never once used her family's power to make her life easier, because she believed that real love didn't need those things. Then came the day everything broke. It didn't end quietly. It didn't end with kindness or even simple honesty. It ended with humiliation. Public, deliberate, crushing humiliation. The man she had spent 3 years loving stood before her and called her a fraud, a liar, someone who had wasted his time. The dowry she had offered, a symbol of her commitment. Her sincerity was thrown back at her like it was worthless, like she was worthless. And while she stood there, absorbing blow after blow, the woman who had been circling her relationship like a predator walked in and took her place, stepping into the wedding that should have been hers, wearing a smile that said she had planned this all along. She was thrown out, not just from the relationship but from the story she had written in her own heart about who she was and what she deserved. Most people would have broken completely. Most people, after being stripped of dignity in front of others, after being replaced and discarded and publicly shamed, would have disappeared into grief and never come back. And for a moment, just a moment, it looked like that might happen here too, because she was human, and that kind of betrayal doesn't just hurt the heart. It shakes something much deeper. It makes you question every choice, every moment, every version of yourself that trusted someone who turned out to be so undeserving of that trust. But here is where the story turns, because the woman who walked away from that humiliation was not the same woman who had walked into that relationship 3 years ago. She had been quiet, hidden, willing to shrink herself for love. What rose from those ashes was something entirely different. What rose was the real her, the one she had kept locked away, the one she had almost forgotten existed. The daughter of a conglomerate doesn't just come with a name. She comes with resources, with connections, with a network of power that most people spend entire lifetimes trying to build. And when that power is activated not out of arrogance, but out of a quiet, steel-cold decision to never be humiliated again, the world shifts. Business deals realign. People who once looked past her suddenly look very carefully. Doors that were once slammed in her face now open before she even reaches them. And the man who threw her out, the woman who replaced her, the people who stood by and watched and said nothing, they begin to understand, slowly and then all at once, exactly who they crossed. What makes this story so deeply satisfying is that the revenge here isn't loud or messy. It isn't fueled by rage or desperation. It is calm. It is strategic. It is the kind of power that comes from a woman who finally stopped apologizing for existing. Every move she makes from this point forward is precise. Every step is intentional. And every person who underestimated her gets to watch helplessly as the ground shifts beneath their feet. This is not just a story about a breakup. It is a story about identity, about what happens when a woman reclaims the version of herself she gave away for someone who never deserved it. It is about the kind of strength that doesn't announce itself until it absolutely has to, and when it finally does, it is unforgettable. She was never the fraud in this story. She was always the prize. They just didn't know it yet.